debate. George Adam, you've got 4 minutes.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. I actually welcome the idea of keeping the 2014, being able to ensure that we still have the concessionary fare. It was a big issue during the campaign, and one with, particularly with older people and disabled in places like Paisley. They were really keen to ensure that they still had that. But I think it's important that we work within the current framework, because the most important people in this situation are the actual users of the service. And as other people have mentioned, they are 9 times out of 10 vulnerable groups or people with less financial capital of their own. But you have to look at the history of what's happened with the buses. And if you look at after regulation in Scotland, we have an east-west divide with the buses. And most of that is down to the fact that there was still retention of local control with the local authority in the east, with the fact that the council still had some organisation within the bus company, as opposed to the west, where the predecessor of SPT effectively sold all the corporation buses to whatever commercial company that was available. But I think we have to look where we are at this precise moment. And unlike what everyone else in this room, I assume that everyone keeps up to date with all the political facts and issues before a debate, but there is actually a statutory quality partnership out there. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, it's from Paisley. It's actually in Paisley. It's only taken Renfrewshire Council 12 years, using the Labour Party's Transport Scotland Act 2000, to get to this situation. Now, Mr Baker mentioned the fact that it was the Labour Party that brought that Transport Act into being, and that was part of the problem and the difficulty and the reason why it took 12 years for a local authority like Renfrewshire Council to get to that stage. Yes, I would gladly take it, Mr Baker.
If the problem was the ability to introduce the scheme, why did the last SNP government oppose the bill we brought forward to make it far easier to introduce those schemes? I'm afraid the member is making no sense whatsoever.
George Adam.
I think when you look at the sense of the situation is you brought in a bill 12 years ago to actually try and make things better, and it made it extremely difficult. But the good news is, Mr Baker, Presiding Officer, that in Renfrewshire we stuck to the plan, we had the political will, and in 2007, when the SNP-led administration came in, we worked towards achieving that. Now, that has made a massive difference within Paisley and given a better service and a quality service to the people of Paisley. Oh, gladly, Mrs Fee.
Mary Fee.
Would the member agree with me that in the wonderful area of Renfrewshire, where we both come from, there are huge concerns with the public about the proposed takeover of Arriva by McGill's, and there is a great fear that service levels will suffer and services will be cut?
George Adam.
I expected that question from one of the members from the west of Scotland and the list from the Labour Party. And the whole idea of the statutory quality partnership is that we have a control mechanism within the process to be able to ensure that we can still get the delivery of service. That's the important thing, instead of the scare tactics of the opposition parties, putting fear into the elderly, the disabled and the users of that service. So I think it's important that we have the control within that situation. Now, when you look at the difference with the Scottish Quality Bus Partnership, is the fact that we have control over the type of bus, the quality of bus, the cleanliness of the buses, all things which users actually complain about on a regular basis, and shows that in Paisley, as Mrs Fee says, the wonderful world of Renfrewshire, we are actually making these differences and changing. So it's important, in closing, Presiding Officer, that the service user is the main factor in all our decisions when we're making this. We have to ensure that we can deliver now for the bus users in our communities. Thankfully, in Paisley, we are doing this, and would ask that other authorities do likewise. We can deliver a better bus service in Scotland if there is the political will at a local level to do so. Let's serve the public good and find the solution, not create further problems. Working in partnership, we can achieve all this.
I now call